It's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home. Is that too soon? Yes? No? Well, let's talk about it in the very curious news from around England's loss with the amazing Conrad. Very curious news item, number 1. Do you remember when I said that Croatia wouldn't get out of their group back in my original World Cup preview in December, which I then smartly changed in my updated previews? Yeah, what an idiot I almost was, almost being the key word there. However, there's no way that you, me, or anyone else could have predicted that Croatia would win all 3 of their group games, then beat Denmark on penalties after 120 minutes of being all tied up in the round of 16, and then beat Russia on penalties after 120 minutes of being all tied up in the quarterfinals, and then beat England 2-1 after another 120 minutes in the semifinals. But they figured out a way to get it done, and by doing so, they made history in the process by becoming the first team to come from behind and advance in 3 straight knockout round games at a single World Cup, which speaks to the belief that they have in themselves and the belief that they have in their manager Zlatko Dalic, who, if you remember, took over this Croatia team just 7 months ago, which is crazy. And so are these other fun facts, like where Croatia are the lowest ranked nation in the FIFA rankings, they're currently in 20th, to reach a World Cup final since FIFA rankings were first created back in 1992, and how they're the 13th different country to ever reach a World Cup final and the 10th from Europe, and how Croatia and their population of 4.2 million people became the second smallest country in the history of the World Cup to ever make it to a final. Uruguay had around 2 million when they won it back in 1930. Yes, Uruguay! You knew I was going to cram that in there. And so was the fact that the Croatians looked so tired to start the match and probably should have been down 2 or 3 at halftime, but luckily only found themselves down 1-0 on Kieran Trippier's excellent free kick. It was so good. However, once the second half started, you could see Croatia start to grow into the game with Ivan Perisic and Mario Mandzukic and Luka Modric really putting the team on their backs offensively to cause the English all kinds of problems. And then after Perisic scored his goal off of a dope cross by one of my favorites on career mode, Mikko Pickles, which, by the way, wasn't a foul in my opinion, because once Kyle Walker goes low to try to head it out, and low enough, by the way, to be in the wheelhouse of someone shooting, it's not a high kick, so it was rightly not called. Also, what a finish by Perisic. And after that, it was all Croatia, and their quality and their experience was on full display, while England looked tired and unsure about how to break Croatia down, which for me are the moments when you need your best players to step up and be accounted for. And I thought Harry Kane, the captain, and most likely the Golden Boot winner for this tournament, was nowhere to be seen when his country needed him most, which is evidenced by this incredible stat. Croatia's goalkeeper Daniel Subasic finished the match without recording a save. Yes, England's 2 shots on target resulted in a goal and a goal line save by Mikko Pickles off of John Stones' header. So what does this mean for England? Well, on one hand, we could argue that they failed to capitalize on having, and I was going to say easier, but instead I'll say manageable road to the final, where they were 22 minutes away from realizing the dream of playing in their second ever final as a country. And honestly, the crappy part for them is they might not have another manageable road to the final like this in the future. But on the other, we all know that they have a ton to be proud of by winning the games that they should have won, which is something they struggled with in the past, and by having the nerves to finally win a penalty shootout in the World Cup. And off the field too, by uniting a country that has been so divided by today's politics, which is one of my favorite parts about this sport, just in how it brings people together in a positive way. Also, and this has to be said, I know I've stated in the past that I thought the US would win our first World Cup before England wins their second, but given what I saw throughout this tournament from one of the youngest squads competing at this World Cup, and because England have been dominating at the youth level as well, as evidenced by them being the reigning U20 and U17 World Cup champions, I sadly don't feel that way anymore, and I think that England is going to win their second before we win our first. And this is really hard for me to admit. It hurts to say that out loud, but the future just feels much brighter for the Three Lions than it does for my Stars and Stripes at the moment. Unless, of course, I become manager of the US men's national team, then it's on. Anyway, that is it. I am done talking because I'm going to play pickup in Portland for day 2 of our epic Warm Ballers pickup game road trip, so now it is your turn. And here are my questions. Did Croatia deserve to win? Yes or no? I'm going to say yes. What did England get wrong besides John Stones losing concentration for a split second, which gave Mario Mandzukic the space and time to score the game winner? Probably a few things. And do you think England wins their second World Cup before the US wins their first? You already know my answer to that. So let me know your thoughts down below. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and be on the lookout for my preview of the World Cup final, which is dropping very soon. Later.